2 Minute Drill, Jim Monahan along with Chris Swendeman, and a little bit of a programming note. We were going to be joined this evening, Swendeman, as you know, by
Yep.
Michael Lombardi, the former NFL general manager who is now the GM at North Carolina for their football program. And due to some
Yep.
schedule changes, Michael was unable to join us this week. We're hoping we can get him on in the future because I want to talk to him a lot about what's going
I
on
know.
with college football, with NIL, how things have changed. When does the pendulum swing back? So hopefully, plus he's a big Springsteen fan, so we can bring him in on that.
Yes.
So I'm hoping we can get Michael on in the next couple of weeks before the college football season starts. But we do have something special that we're going to do
Yep.
in just a few minutes. I had a conversation with Lindsay Berra. And if that name sounds familiar,
Mhm.
well, Berra, she is the granddaughter of Yogi Berra. And there's something really special coming up on September 21st at Montclair State University. And we'll tell you about that a little bit later when we play the interview
Yep.
with Lindsay Berra. But in the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, I know the Yankees won today. Seems like it's been first time in forever. We have the one and, well, not only because there's a lot of them, the Cranky Yankee Fan. Mr. Swendeman, the floor is yours.
Yes, party of me tonight. That's me, Mr. Cranky Yankee Curmudgeon Fan. Um, they won today, as you mentioned, and I'll say this. It's gotten to the point, Jim, where even when they win, it doesn't feel good. It just feels like, all right, well, they got past this one. Let's see how they do tomorrow. Let's see how they do the next series. It's so bad. It's infuriating to watch right now. I'm infuriated as a fan, as a co-host of a podcast that we talk sports. Every which way I could be annoyed at this team, I am. From the errors that little league teams don't make to Boone every press conference looking like Kevin Bacon in National Lampoon's Animal House. Remain calm. There is nothing wrong. There's nothing to see here. Remain calm. Everything is fine. That's Aaron Boone. And you know what? I'm sick of it because there's no, you know, there's nobody that is being like pulled out on the carpet, basically. There's no culpability. There's no any, like, it just, you can't even find words for it at this point because it's just, what's the definition of insanity, Jim?
Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result.
Where have we seen this before?
Yeah.
It,
Well,
it,
that's the thing.
every,
This has been the MO of the Yankees the past few seasons. This is nothing new.
And you give credit to Boone in some aspects where you said early in the season, all right, let's not panic. And he takes it on him. He wants to be that player's coach. But at some point, hold somebody accountable for this.
Well, we
I
don't know
mean,
that he isn't behind the scenes, Chris. I understand it.
I,
If fans are all worked up because Boone's press conferences sound like, Crash Davis
right.
working with Nuke
Yep.
Lelouch on his cliches. They're boring. He doesn't really give you anything. And, once in a while, he'll pound his fist on the table and say something. But as a general rule, he's really reserved. And I understand it. We don't know what he's doing behind the scenes. He's probably ripping into somebody, but he won't show his players up. And you gotta think the players respect that at the very least. And if it were me, I think I'd want to play harder. It might not be working that way, though.
No. And the more, I think it angers me more because you have, for the past several years now, one of the top three players in the game, number 99, your captain, and you're wasting his prime years, wasting them. Yes, they got to the World Series last year and they got laughed out of the building by the Dodgers. Literally, when the Dodgers won the World Series, they were laughing at the Yankees, at what a marginal team they were compared to the Dodgers. You you're getting your lunch eaten by every good team. Toronto's, every team they faced over 500 has smacked them around. And some teams like the Marlins that aren't even near a 500 team. That's a quadruple A ball club you're looking at, and you got swept. how low is low until somebody goes, all right, enough? Because it's clearly not Boone, and not much further behind him is Cashman. Not, I mean, Cashman made a couple trades, and other than Bednar, who looked great today and saved them, but other than that, where are the where's the pluses here? I don't see it.
Well, here are the things that you can do a lot of things with numbers. The Yankees lead major league teams in home runs. They
Right.
lead in walks, if I'm not mistaken.
Mhm.
Yes, they lead in walks. They have well, the batting average is down. They're like 12th.
Yeah.
But slugging percentage, they're number one. OPS, they're number one. Yeah, they strike out a lot. There's no question about it.
Right.
They're among the leaders in strikeouts, but they're still hitting the ball for power. And you look at that and you go, oh, these numbers are fine. But when you've got Ben Rice coming out and
Right.
saying there's no sense of urgency, like, Ben, you're hitting like a $160 over the last 2.5 weeks. Like, try a mirror here. But here's
And
what
ironically, and ironically, he hasn't really played since he made those comments. If you know, look at his games played since he made those comments. He's been running the bench more than not. I mean, and I understand with Stanton, with Judge only able to DH right now, there's a lot of bats and not a lot of spots. I get it, but it's very funny that since Rice said that, he really hasn't played. So I want to see, I wonder what's going on behind the scenes with that.
Speaking of more numbers, we went back and we did a little bit of research. On May 28th, the Yankees were
Yep.
15 games over 500. They had a
Yep.
35 and 20 record, and I
Mhm.
believe they had a 7-game lead in
Correct.
the American League East.
Yes.
So 55 games, roughly a third of the
Right.
season. Since that time, they are 25 and 34,
Hmm.
and they're 6.5 out. So
Right.
now that is 59 games, roughly a third of the season,
Right.
right? This is not a small sample size.
No.
Okay, there
No.
are 48 games left. Which team shows up? That's the big question right now.
Right.
Which team shows up? Is it the one that ripped off 35 wins in their first 55 games? Or is it the
Right.
one that has gone to sleep over the past 50 some odd games?
I just don't see the light at the end of the tunnel on this one, because if you saw improvement, I feel like every day we see more chinks in the armor than we do improvement. And well, you can rest your hat on this for the next series. What you they lose every win. They find a way to, when good teams find a way to win, this team has found ways to lose. And the errors, I mean, it just Devin Williams blowing saves left and right. Could we agree at this point? Maybe he shouldn't be closing games.
Yeah,
Just
probably. That's
maybe
probably a good
you
idea.
you went and got three really well, two now, I guess, relievers, because one already got sent to the minors. So, I mean, I was talking to you about that the other day. I was like, that was the quickest turnaround from trade. Hey, look at this guy we got to. All right, you're being sent to the minors.
At least they did something, though.
That's true.
Look at what they've done with their
Right.
shortstop. And people are
Right.
starting to wonder if Anthony's middle name is Steinbrenner. And I know he's come out of it the last week or so.
Right.
He's starting to show this, but we've seen this before where Anthony
have.
has a good,
Yep.
week and a half, 2 weeks, and then it's a month of Anthony, what are
Right.
you doing?
It's been, and I mean his fielding errors, and I mean you just look at this team and there's just not much that's redeeming right now. I mean, Judge, they get Judge back, great, but is Judge 100%? No. Stanton has been a bright spot because Stanton has been hitting more than just home runs. I think he's batting give or take around 260. So that's a plus. Bellinger has been good. Goldschmidt, when he plays, he's better than what I think most Yankee fans thought they were going to get.
Yeah, definitely.
But other than that, I mean, they traded for Austin Slater. Slater's already on the IL. it just seems like one calamity after the other with this team, and you just don't know where it's going to end. And like you said, which team is going to show up for this final stretch, towards the playoffs? Right now, they're clinging to a wild card spot over Seattle. Boston's past them at this point. Toronto, forget about it. I think they scored 40. Toronto scored 45 runs in Colorado in a three-game series.
Well, it's Colorado. I mean, come
Yeah,
on. They scored
but
20 something
but that
today.
goes but that goes back to my theory that good teams find a way to win, and good teams, they take advantage of opportunities like that. They're in Colorado and they just mashed the Yankees. It just they don't seem to seize any opportunity lately.
All right, you feeling better now?
I think I got it all out of my system.
Slow inhale, slow exhale. Well, listen, on a positive note, as we mentioned at the top of the show,
Yes.
Lindsay Berra, you know her as the granddaughter of Yogi Berra, the Yankee legend. She also was one of the executive producers of the film It Ain't Over, the movie that came out a little over a year ago about her grandfather.
Fantastic.
And coming up September 21st at Yogi Berra Stadium on the campus of Montclair State University in Little Falls is Yogi's Big Catch Challenge. They're trying to set a Guinness World Record of the most people to have a catch at the same time. And we'll give you a sneak preview because this is going to appear on Jersey Magazine, which runs on a handful of the Beasley media
Mhm.
stations here in
Yep.
New Jersey. I had a chance to sit down with Lindsay today and talk about the Big Catch Challenge, talk about her grandfather, talk a little bit about the movie, and you can watch it right now here on the 2 Minute Drill. Coming Sunday, September 21st, to Yogi Berra Stadium on the campus of Montclair State University in Little Falls is Yogi's Big Catch Challenge. And with me today, my guest is Lindsay Berra, Yogi Berra's granddaughter. Lindsay, good morning and welcome.
Hi, Jim. Thanks so much for having me on.
So tell me about Yogi's Big Catch. Where did the idea come from?
The idea was definitely the brainchild of our museum director, Eve Shanin, and we are going to break the Guinness World Record for the largest game of catch on the field adjacent to the Yogi Berra Museum and Learning Center. It's Yogi Berra Stadium, where Montclair State University and NJIT play. The previous record is 900 and something pairs, so like 1,900 people or something. We're hoping for 2,500. So we need all the Jersey folks to come out with their kids and their parents and their cousins and their teammates and their neighbors and sign up to come play catch with us on September 21st.
I know a couple of people who have already signed up and they're really looking forward to this whole thing. And there is something magical about just playing catch with a baseball with someone.
I mean, it's great. It's funny. My brother will kill me for saying this, but like he's a total curmudgeon, and if we play catch in the backyard, the smile just kind of fills his face. It just kind of reminds you of being a kid and kind of, connecting in a different kind of way with whoever that person is that you're playing catch with. You always have a good chat over a catch. This one might be a little chaotic because there's going to be a lot of people on that field, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And people are going to have a great story to tell. And I don't know about you, but I've never been part of breaking a Guinness World Record, so I think that that's pretty cool.
I have not been a part at all. I would love to do to take part in it. I know you're doing satellite catches as well. So if you're not able to be in Little Falls on the 21st of September, you can still participate. How does somebody go about doing that, Lindsay?
Our website is yogisbigcatch.org, and there will be all kinds of information, whatever you need on those satellite catches on the website. And yes, like, we have family in St. Louis and just there's lots of people who be on vacation when this is happening, who are planning on, just having a catch with whoever they happen to be with, or even organizing a larger event. And if you send us video, we can put it on the Jumbotron in the stadium, and you can be kind of included virtually in the whole experience, even though you won't be included in the number towards the Guinness World Record.
You know, when you break down the game of baseball, it really is just an advanced form of catch. A pitcher plays catch with his catcher. An
Yeah.
outfielder plays catch with whomever he's throwing the ball to, whether it's a cutoff man or a base. Infielders are playing catch with the first baseman. It's just an advanced form of that. And it all starts with just a simple game of playing catch.
It does. And I think, every baseball fan starts there, right? Like in the yard with their friends. And then like you said, as they get older, you move on to more advanced parts of the game, or you don't move on to more advanced parts of the game and you continue just playing catch in your backyard. But it still just kind of connects everybody to that joy of baseball and joy of being a kid and the joy of connecting with the person on the other end of that throw, right? Um, yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to do some other cool stuff too. We'll have music and food trucks and giveaways, and the museum will be open all day for tours. It'll be just a really fun day.
You know, when I think of having a catch, a couple of things come to mind. And one is the iconic scene in Field of Dreams, which I choke up every single time we get to that point. Dad, do you want to have a catch? And the other is a quote attributed to a former teammate of your grandfather's. They only played together for a short time, and that would be Jim Bouton, also from New Jersey, who said, "A ball player spends a good piece of his life gripping a baseball. And in the end, it turns out it was the other way around the whole time." And boy, does that ring true.
I just got goosebumps. I know I had that written on my bulletin board for a while. But I totally just got goosebumps when you read it. It does. Baseball has a piece of our hearts in a way that I don't think other sports do. And, I do think it has something to do with just like the pace of the game and how engrossed you get into watching ball games and playing ball games at every level from sandlot to the big leagues. I think it transcends differences. You can talk to people from different areas of the country with different political views and different ideologies, and they can really bond over their love for baseball. And that's really what we're hoping this is going to accomplish.
We have a family that lives across the street from us. They have two young boys. I think they're 9 and 11 or 10 and 12. And a few weeks ago, my younger daughter said to me, "That family makes me so happy." And I said, "Why? Why do you say that?" And she said, "Because I always see the dad playing catch with one of his sons." And for her, it brings back memories of me playing catch with her and her sister and her brother as well. And just, again, coming full circle, just like you were talking about.
Yeah, that's great. Can you go across the street and tell your neighbors to come to the museum on September
I
21st?
will, as a matter of fact.
And your daughter, get your daughter out as well.
Yeah, she was actually pretty good. One of my daughters played 4 years of high school softball. My son played varsity baseball at high school. My younger daughter decided to give up softball. I've never forgiven her for that.
That's
No,
okay. I
I'm
do
just
want to
kidding.
make one point though before we go. You don't have to be good to come play catch with us on September 1st. You're going to be 9 feet apart for 5 minutes. We don't care if you drop the ball. You just have to make an effort to keep moving and playing catch for those five. It's just 5 minutes. So we don't care if you're good. We don't care if you're terrible. We want everybody.
Yeah, in fact, you note on the website it's okay to drop the
It's
ball,
okay. It's quite all right to drop the ball.
which the Yankees have been doing a lot lately. But
Um,
I
you
don't know
said
if we
it
want to get
right.
into that or not. That's been rough to watch. It really has for Yankee fans
You
lately.
know, like you said, you break it down. It's you throw the ball, you catch the ball. It's a simple game. No need to overcomplicate.
Exactly. It's that line from Bull Durham. This is a simple game. You throw the ball, you hit the ball, you catch the ball. You got it. And of course, the manager storms out after that. I mentioned the Jim Bouton quote. And of course, your grandfather had some legendary quotes, one of which was, of course, "It ain't over till it's over." And you had the documentary that came out about a year ago or so, maybe a little more than that. And it's still available, I believe, on YouTube, Apple, and Prime TV for people who want to check it out. And if you haven't yet, we think we know the story of your grandfather. We know about the championship rings, we know about the Yankees and the Mets and all that. But when you get down to it, we really just touch the surface of what your grandfather was all about. And I thought you did such a marvelous job with that film, Lindsay.
Thank you so much. I still can't believe I had anything to do with making a movie that people actually watch. So thank you for watching it. I'm glad you liked it. And yeah, I think it's a great representation of who my grandfather was as a human being. You don't have to be a baseball fan to watch and enjoy that film. It's about the 65-year love story between him and my Grammy Carmen. It's an immigrant story. He was a first generation Italian immigrant. It's a veteran story. My grandfather had a pro baseball contract in his hand and volunteered to serve in the Navy during World War II and ended up as a machine gunner off of Omaha Beach during the D-Day invasion. It's a family story about my and uncles and all my cousins and siblings and how grandpa was a role model and like the head of our family. It's just a really heartwarming story about a guy who was as good as they came on the baseball field, but an even better human being. So check it out if you have time.
And as good as we think he was even better on the field. Never mind, I know you're talking about what a great person that he was, and you know him, of course, as a
Yeah.
grandfather, which we
I-
never did. But the baseball end of it alone, we
Yeah.
think we know the story.
Some
We
of the stats
don't.
will some of the stats will really blow your mind. I think that there is a bit of a recency bias when it comes to my grandpa Yogi, and when you talk about the best catchers, Johnny Bench is who people always point to, and Johnny Bench was fantastic. But some of the numbers that we talk about in the documentary, you'll be like, holy moly, like Yogi, that's amazing. That no, there, he still has records that will never be broken. And just some of the numbers that he was able to put up, offensive numbers while catching 120, 130 games a year, were really just tremendous. And the amount that he was able to win, is just, how important he was to those, really successful Yankees teams in the 50s and the 60s. It just was the beginning of the 60s anyway. It was really incredible. And it's eye-opening when you put the numbers down on piece of paper and, put them up on the screen and people actually see what he was able to accomplish.
One of the other quotes, and we had you on when the film came out, but one of the other quotes, it's one of my favorites of your grandfather's is, and it sounds crazy at first until you sit down and think about it, you can observe a lot by watching.
You can.
The sense of it goes, yeah, okay. But when you think about it, Lindsay, like, okay, we're looking at something, but are you really learning from it? Are you really observing it? Are you absorbing what's actually happening? And you can do a lot of that by watching, by paying attention.
Yeah. It is so many of what my grandfather's yogiisms sound a little kooky on the surface, and then you boil them down and they can really change your perspective and make you see the world in a different way. You know, he had a really interesting way of seeing the world. Things were, very black and white and straight to the point, and he just sort of he was able to see all the trees in the forest and the forest for all the trees, right? He was really great. If you had a problem and you went to him for advice, he would cut to the chase right away, and you'd be like, "Oh my God, he was right. He's totally right. That's not the easy thing to do, but it's what I have to do." He had a really great way of putting things into words. And if you come to the catch on September 21st, you can drive by the actual fork in the road. You can put Yogi Berra's fork in the road into your GPS on your phone, and it will come up. It's Edgewood Road that goes up to Highland Avenue in Montclair, and you see the actual fork. And when you look at it, how both sides go up to Highland Avenue, and you can take the fork either way to my grandfather's house, you'll know exactly what he's talking about. So that one makes a lot of sense too when you see it in person.
And if you're not familiar with that quote, it's when you come to a fork in the
We're
road,
gonna
take it.
take it.
And even if it doesn't relate to where they lived, when you
Nope.
think about it, you come to a fork in the road, you have to make a decision.
Yes.
So whether you go to the left or go to the right, whatever it is, make the decision.
Yes. And we use it kind of in my family. I use it as like a euphemism for like get off your butt if you're dilly-dallying or procrastinating. Lindsay, take the fork, right? It doesn't matter what you decide to do, just do something and do it with authority, right?
Well, again, it is Yogi's Big Catch Challenge. It is Sunday, September 21st. I'm all ready. I have my glove. I've got the
Awesome.
ball. I'm ready to go. Yogi Berra Stadium on the campus of Montclair State University in Little Falls. And give us the website address once again.
It's yogisbigcatch.org. Or if you happen to forget that, just go to the museum website and there's a big pop-up right on the homepage.
And the website address is for the museum is yogiberramuseum.org. Lindsay Berra, thank you so much for your time. I hope this is a wild success for you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So, Swendeman, if you don't have plans for Sunday, September 21st, you and I are going to go play catch at Yogi Berra Stadium as part of this attempt to set a world record.
I am absolutely in on that. We are going to have a catch. I'm going to, try not to well up thinking about Field of Dreams, and we are going to have some fun out there. I am looking forward to that. I wouldn't miss that for anything.
As I mentioned in the interview that I had with Lindsay Berra, Jim Bouton's quote, a ball player spends a good piece of his life gripping a baseball, and in the end, it turns out that it was the other way around all the time. So my thanks to Lindsay for filling in for Michael Lombardi, and hopefully we get Michael on in the next couple of
Yes.
weeks. Next week, we have Paul Rappaport. Paul, for years, worked for Columbia Records. He promoted so many big artists, so many huge albums from Billy Joel to Bruce Springsteen, you name it. He even
Yeah.
got on stage with Pink Floyd. That story alone is worth the price of admission. So we'll have Paul on next week to talk about all of that. You know the drill by now. Like,
Yep.
subscribe. If you like what we do, tell a friend. You don't like what we do, tell an enemy. Just please, we're begging you.
Tell somebody.
All right, Swendeman, we'll talk next week.
All right, you got it, Jim. Have a great one.